My name is David Calloway, and I'm 44 years old. 3 months ago, I walked into a local art gallery with my wife for a Friday evening opening. We were just there for the free wine and the quiet. Then I stopped in front of a photograph on the wall. It was a black and white shot of an old man feeding pigeons in the rain, taken from below, the umbrella filling the top third of the frame, the pigeons blurred, mid-flight, the puddle reflecting everything. I knew that photograph. I knew it because I was standing behind my 12-year-old daughter Sophie when she took it. Last October, in the park, on a Tuesday. The name on the card beside it said, Claire Hendricks, local artist. Claire Hendricks is my sister. I stood there for a long time. Then I took out my phone. I didn't call Claire. I didn't make a scene in the gallery. I took a photograph of the photograph, and I sent 3 messages. Within 1 week, the gallery had issued a public statement. The Regional Youth Arts Competition had reopened their records, and my sister had been removed from the volunteer board of the school arts program she'd run for 6 years. But before I tell you exactly what happened, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop your location in the comments. Now let me tell you the full story. Sophie has been taking photographs since she was 8. It started with my old phone. A cracked screen Android I gave her when I upgraded. She carried it everywhere. Parks, supermarkets, car journeys. She photographed everything. Shadows on walls, her shoes in puddles, the dog mid-sneeze. Most of it was what you'd expect from an 8-year-old. But occasionally she'd show me something and I'd stop. Sophie, how did you think to frame it like that? She'd shrug. It just looked right. By the time she was 10, she had my old DSLR. By 11, she'd watched every photography tutorial she could find online and was talking about things like depth of field and negative space and the rule of thirds with more confidence than most adults I know. Her school had an arts program run by a volunteer committee. My sister Claire was on that committee, had been for years. Claire is artistic, paints watercolors, does some amateur photography herself. Our parents always called her the creative one. Claire and Sophie had a good relationship, or I thought they did. Every few months, Claire would come over for dinner, and she and Sophie would talk photography. Claire would look through Sophie's recent shots, make suggestions. Sophie loved it. She looked up to her aunt. I should have paid more attention to how those conversations went. But I trusted Claire. She was family. Last September, Sophie came to me excited. Dad, the Regional Youth Arts Competition is open for entries. Can I enter? Of course. Which photo? She showed me 3 options on her camera. I looked through them slowly. The third one stopped me cold. It was the pigeon photograph. The old man, the umbrella, the rain, the puddle reflection. She'd taken it 2 weeks earlier in Riverside Park on a gray Tuesday afternoon when we'd gone for a walk after school. Sophie, this is extraordinary. Really? I'm not exaggerating. The composition, the timing, the reflection. This is genuinely extraordinary. She beamed. Aunt Claire helped me think about the angle, she said. I showed it to her last week, and she said it was the best thing I'd ever taken. Good. Enter this one. She did. She submitted it online, uploaded the file, filled in her name and age in school. Sophie Calloway, 12, Riverside Middle School. We waited. 3 weeks later, she got an email. Her photograph had been selected as a regional finalist. There would be a physical exhibition at the Meridian Gallery downtown. Winners announced at an opening event in November. Sophie printed the email and put it on the fridge. October. 4 weeks before the exhibition. Sophie came home from school quiet. I asked how her day was. "Fine," she said. Fine in the voice that doesn't mean fine. I let her decompress, waited until after dinner. "Sophie, what happened today?" She was quiet for a long time. She looked at her hands. "Aunt Claire texted me today." "Okay." She said she needs the original file of the pigeon photo. The raw file. For the competition. Why would Claire need your competition file? She said she's on the judging committee and she needs to verify the resolution. I went very still. "Did you send it?" Sophie looked up. She had that expression kids get when they know something is wrong, but can't articulate what. "Not yet." "Should I?" "No," I said carefully. "Don't send anything yet. Let me look into it." That evening I checked the competition website. Claire Hendricks was not listed on the judging committee. She was listed as a general volunteer. Volunteers don't handle original submission files. I added that to a note on my phone. Started a new folder. November. The gallery opening. Sophie's name was on the finalist list. We arrived at 7 p.m. The gallery was full, 40 or 50 people, wine glasses, soft lighting, photographs on every wall. We found Sophie's section. Her name was on the card. Her photograph was on the wall. She stood in front of it for a long moment. Then she grabbed my arm. "Dad." "What?" She pointed. Across the room. Different wall. Different section. The same photograph. Same old man. Same umbrella. Same pigeons mid-flight. Same puddle reflection. Different card. Claire Hendricks, local artist. I stood there. I want to be precise about what I felt in that moment because it matters. It wasn't rage. It was something colder than rage. Something very quiet and very clear. I looked at Sophie. Her face had gone completely still. "Dad," she said. "That's my photo." "I know," I said. "How does she have it?" "I don't know yet." "Is she going to win with my photo?" I looked at my 12-year-old daughter standing in a gallery, looking at her own work, with someone else's name on it. "No," I said. "She's not." I took out my phone. I photographed Claire's display card next to her version. I photographed Sophie's display card next to her version. I opened my camera roll and found the original. Sophie taking the shot in the park. Me standing behind her. Timestamp clearly visible. October 3rd, 4:47 p.m. Then I sent 3 messages. Message 1. To the gallery director. Her contact details were on the website. I introduced myself as the father of Sophie Calloway, youth finalist. I told her there were 2 copies of the same photograph on display tonight. One under my daughter's name, one under Claire Hendricks. I told her I had time-stamped originals, raw files, and a photograph of Sophie taking the shot. I told her I'd appreciate a conversation before the winners were announced. She replied in 11 minutes. "Please come to the office at the back of the gallery." Message 2. To the Regional Youth Arts Competition Director. Same information. I attached the timestamp photo. Message 3. To my wife. Take Sophie to get a drink. Keep her calm. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I went to the gallery office. The director was a small, efficient woman named Patricia. She looked at everything I showed her without speaking. Then she made 2 phone calls. When she hung up, she looked at me. "Mr. Calloway, Claire Hendricks submitted this photograph 48 hours ago as part of a last-minute addition to the local artist section. She submitted it as her own original work." "I see. Your daughter submitted it 6 weeks ago as a competition entry." "Yes." The timestamps on your originals predate her submission by 5 weeks. Yes. She looked at her notes. I need to make one more call, she said. I waited outside. 15 minutes later, she came out. Your daughter's photograph will remain in the competition. Claire Hendricks's submission is being removed tonight. We'll be issuing a statement. I nodded. I also want you to know, she said, that the youth competition director will be reviewing the submission records. If there's any evidence of interference with the judging process, that will be addressed separately. Thank you. I went back to find Sophie. She was standing with her mother looking at her photograph, her real one, with her name on the card. I told her what had happened. She didn't say anything for a while. Then, did she know it was wrong? I think she did, yes. Why would she do that? I thought about it. I think she saw something remarkable and wanted it to be hers. Sophie looked at the photograph. But it is mine. It is. She nodded slowly. Okay. Just okay. That was it. 12 years old. 2 weeks later, Sophie won. First place, youth category, regional arts competition. The prize was $500 and an invitation to submit to the state competition. Patricia from the gallery sent me a personal email. She said Sophie's photograph was the unanimous choice of the judging panel. She said, and I'm quoting, "The technical skill combined with the emotional instinct shown in this image is genuinely rare. Please encourage her." I printed the email, put it on the fridge, right next to the finalist notification. Claire was removed from the school arts program volunteer board pending a review. She called me once. I didn't answer. She texted, "I just wanted to share it. I wasn't going to win." I replied, "You submitted it as your own original work. That's not sharing. That's theft." She didn't respond. My parents called. Upset. Said I'd humiliated Claire. Said it was a misunderstanding. I said, "Your 12-year-old granddaughter stood in a gallery and saw her own photograph with someone else's name on it. There was no misunderstanding." My mother was quiet. Then she said, "Is Sophie okay?" "She won," I said. "First place." Another silence. "She's very talented," my mother said finally. "Yes," I said. "She is." One evening, Sophie and I were going through her new shots. She's been photographing winter light lately, the way it comes through bare branches in the afternoon. She showed me one that made me stop. "Dad, do you think what Aunt Claire did means she doesn't love me?" I thought about it carefully. "I think she loves you," I said. "I think she also made a very wrong choice. Those two things can both be true." Sophie thought about that. "I think I understand that," she said. Then she went back to her camera. I watched her scroll through her photographs, looking at each one seriously, already thinking about the next shot. There was no bitterness in her, no anger, just forward motion. I thought, she's going to be fine, better than fine. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If this story moved you, please smash that like button and subscribe to Tender Heart Stories. Drop your location in the comments. USA, UK, Canada, Australia, wherever you're watching from. And remember, what belongs to your child belongs to your child. Fight for it. Take care of each other. See you in the next one. My sister entered my 12-year-old's winning photo as her own. Then I made 3 calls. My 12-year-old daughter Sophie won a regional photography competition. Then I walked into the gallery and saw her winning photo on the wall with my sister's name on it. She didn't ask. She didn't tell us. She just submitted Sophie's work as her own original art. I didn't argue. I didn't call her names. I made 3 phone calls. The next morning, the gallery issued a public statement. The competition reopened their records, and my sister lost everything she'd built for 6 years. Did I go too far or not far enough? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe for more real family stories at Tenderheart Stories, #FamilyStory, #Reddit, #Reddit Stories, #Moral Dilemma, #Parenting Story, #Family Drama, #Aita, #Storytelling, #Reddit Posts, #Viral Story. Disclaimer: this story is based on real events shared by members of our community. Names and identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. This content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the storyteller.